Hello everybody, another episode of Stardom Show. I am in Bangalore with a good friend of mine here who is an entrepreneur who has built his business from the ground up and achieved. He was in US for some time. He will tell you his story. I am going to give you a very quick introduction. I want to introduce you to Rakesh Kalra. That's how I say your last name, right?
Yep.
Okay, Rakesh here. He is the founder of Urban Pro, and before that he had founded another company or other places where he has worked. He will share all his insights and perspectives, and of course a few pieces of advice here for all of you today here. And again, I am in Bangalore in India with Rakesh, founder of Urban Pro. Rakesh, welcome to the show.
Yep. Thanks, Ram.
Rakesh, how did it all start, Rakesh? Let's start with where you are right now,
Yep.
and then we'll go back and learn everything about your past.
Sure. So I run a startup called urbanpro.com. It's the largest marketplace in India for finding tutors, trainers, and training institutes. And we are present across all major cities in India and support over 1,000 categories, all learning categories. Anything you want to learn from algebra to Zumba, it's all there.
Great. So when did this start? How did you go about starting this?
Yeah, so I spent most of my career in US, in the Boston area.
Okay.
And I was there from 99 till 2010 and worked with 3 different startups there from early days. I mean, I was not one of the founders, but yes, I was there from the early days. The most recent one being a company called care.com, where I was heading technology. And I built the whole technology and the team from ground up from the beginning, and I was running it for 4 years as VP technology. I then decided to move back to India. So 2010 I moved back primarily because our two young kids were getting ready for schooling, and we wanted to have them grow up in the familiar India environment. So that we took that difficult decision to do the move. So when we moved back, so education was on top of my mind, and one thing I realized as I understood what's happening in India is that the education system has actually failed, the formal education system in India, and that has led to a huge market, huge supplemental tutoring and exam prep, as well as other learning market, which is cropped up, and it's highly unorganized, highly fragmented, believed to be a $40 billion kind of a market. And I felt that there's a need to for someone to come in and organize the sector using technology, and that's what we've been doing since last 4 years. We built urbanpro.com as the platform, as a marketplace where as a parent or as a student one could go look at based on what their learning requirement is. Could be a home tutor, could be a guitar tutor, could be maybe a hobby or academic, anything that someone wants to learn.
Right.
They all find it under one roof.
So when did this all start, Rakesh? Did it start at 2000, 2001?
2011 is when when the initiative started. 2012 is when it really took a serious effort.
So was there any transformational change that happened? Like how did you just drop into this, or you were thinking about this for so many years? What made you take this leap of being an entrepreneur, or starting a new venture all by yourself?
Yeah, so it evolved over time. My focus was kindergarten to 12th grade, and the focus was to build help a parent from everything from finding a school to daycare to even a tutor trainer. But we very soon realized that the tutor trainer is a bigger opportunity, right? And it has a bigger need for what we are doing here. And we then started focusing on learning across segments, not just kindergarten till 12th, but both for kids as well as adults. Any kind of a learning that one needs to go through. So that has been our focus today, and that's where we are.
Right. So Rakesh, tell us about your background a little. Like where did you study, or what did you study? are you using actually what you studied? So
Actually,
that's
I'm
a
not.
big question everybody has.
No, it's where people rarely do, right? So I actually did my engineering in mechanical. This was 97 from Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh. And I was never interested in mechanical engineering. I was just kind of forced into it. And I soon found my passion for computer technologies,
Right.
and started learning some of that. I got a big break when I got an opportunity to learn or do a course at CDAC in Bangalore. So I came to Bangalore for a 6-month intensive advanced computing program, and that helped transform me from a mechanical engineer to a computer science engineer. And then I got my first computer science job in LG Soft India here in Bangalore. And soon after a year working at LG, it took me to US in 99. And then while working there with different startups, I also did my master's in computer science. So then I fully became a computer science graduate.
Technology side.
Yeah, yes.
Words.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about something or someone who has influenced you in your life or career. Are there any, can you recall any teacher or any motivational guru or someone in your family, anyone that who has influenced you or inspired you?
Actually, there have been a number of people.
Top three, let's say.
Top three. Because I think it does happen that a lot of people over time shape
Exactly.
your thinking, shape your life. I think the first person that comes to mind is, should I talk about different names as well?
Go ahead if you
Yeah,
can. Like
yeah.
this, you know.
Yeah, I mean, someone I worked with in the first startup, his name is Mr. Raman Sood, based in Boston. He's a serial entrepreneur.
Right.
He has founded many, co-founded many companies in the Boston area. So he was one of the co-founders at my first startup, heading technology there. I learned a lot from him on how to build a technology startup. My next big influence happened was at care.com, where I was there for 4 years. Multiple people there.
Right.
A very strong management team. That helped me understand how to build a company which is very. Somebody used to tell me it's infinitely impossible to build a company from scratch, right? And it's often the will of the founder, the people behind it that make it happen. So a lot of learning at Care as well. Then I read a lot of books. There are books that have influenced. There's a book called The Alchemist. Yeah, correct.
My favorite author.
Yeah, correct. So that talks about understanding what your goal in life is and doing whatever it takes to go meet your goals.
Right.
So I think that's been. I follow a little bit of Robin Sharma as well. I've read a bit of him. Yeah, I think I would say a lot of people over time. I also have read quite a bit about Steve Jobs. Read his biography. Yeah, I think a lot of people, I would say.
Right. So we got to learn about your schooling and your college and things that you did professionally. What are you passionate about personally? What ignites you?
So I love sports.
Okay, we didn't know that. Okay.
So I've played multiple things over time. Cricket, football, table tennis. More recently, I've been playing badminton very regularly, at least 3-4 times a week. So just a group of friends, and we play a couple of times during weekdays and on weekends as well. So that's what I always look forward to the next session of badminton.
Okay, nice. So with that as the cue, I'm going to serve him one shot from this side. I'm going to ask you, what are the 1 or 2 or 3 mistakes that maybe you have made, wrong decisions probably, so that the viewers can learn from your mistakes?
Yep. I don't know if anything major comes to mind. I'm just thinking here.
Or let's say, what are the 1 or 2 pitfalls to avoid when someone is looking up to you for inspiration?
Yeah.
People look at you, read your story, watch this video and they want to become entrepreneurs.
Yep.
Because that's the craze nowadays, right? That's the big thing that's
Yep.
happening, and it's
Yep.
good.
Yep.
So if someone is just starting, what are the 1 or 2 or 3 pitfalls to avoid? What do you suggest?
I think for me, I came from a technology background into running a business, and I did not have an experience outside of product and technology. So to me, I think last 4 years have been a lot of learning on the business side, and I think maybe the learning there is, if you're coming from a pure tech background, having someone strong with you who understands the business side of things goes a long way. I mean, over time I've built a strong team around me, and now there are people around me who understand, and plus I have learned a lot over the last 4 years. I think that's one thing to be aware of if you're coming from product tech, especially if you're doing a product tech startup. Get a business side person. If you're coming from the business side and doing a product tech startup, then get a product tech person early on, to make sure those gaps are filled.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would be 1 or 2 other suggestions that you would say, the mistakes to avoid? What if someone is looking for, let's say, finance or capital?
Yep.
Do they have to focus on capital, or do they have to focus on marketing? What is it that you suggest there?
I think so. As an entrepreneur, you have to focus on everything. There is not one thing, because it's everything coming together is what actually builds a company.
That's right.
So in my case, I bootstrapped for first 2 years, and then raised an angel round, and then very recently last year we raised an institutional investor round. So I think I'm not sure, the pros and cons of everything, right?
Yeah.
Bootstrapping, the benefit is if you're able to manage with the cash flows, you are independent and are able to make a lot of those decisions independently. But the benefit of bringing an investor early is that if you really get someone who understands the space, can be a big person, someone who can help you solve some of the problems that you may not have solved before, because that person has solved it in the past.
Got it. So let me ask you an easier question now.
Yeah.
What are the 3 best decisions that you have made in your life so far? It could be anything. It need not be your business related at all. Anything.
Okay.
Anything. The 3 best things that you have done in your life so far that you are proud about.
I think probably the first thing would be to making that switch from an area which I was not really keen on doing. I was trained to be a mechanical engineer. In fact, the first job I got was in the mechanical engineering field. Making that switch to the computer technology, I would think would be the first.
So that was the best decision that you have made,
First ever. The second would be picking my wife. That happened in 2000.
Okay.
And I think third decision is the decision to move back to India. I think we took every year we thought maybe next year, which happens quite a bit with people abroad. But once we took the decision and we moved back, I mean, the first 1 year was tough. It takes that much time to settle in, but once we settled in, it's been great. Closer to family, we're able to do pursue our hobbies and other interests, and plus being able to start this business and run this business.
Right.
So I think those will be the top 3.
So Rakesh, how's the entrepreneur world, that is your world?
Yeah.
How is it evolving in India? Like what's your take on that? What should people actually pay attention to right now?
So I think my take is it's still in its early days. Like the US market is much more mature. I think India is still learning, is my take. There is, I think in general, India, the people are brought up in India being very risk averse. You're taught to make sure you don't fail, right? It happens from the moment you start appearing in exams. You can't get less marks. You have to be one of the top, in your class. And I think you're taught to play it safe and make sure. So getting a job and making sure you're in a safe job has always been the case in India. I think it's changing now, especially young folks. A lot of people starting, right out of college, so that's happening. So people are starting to take more risks. I think I still hear that parents still have that mindset of, hey, go find a well-paying job, but it's changing. I think it's changing.
That's true. That's true. By the way, because I believe in having a good lifestyle, whatever it is. Like whether you are working for someone or working for yourself or being an entrepreneur, whether you have a life and whether you have a meaning to your life.
Yeah.
So that's what I believe. So
Yeah.
what would be your message to the world, like generally?
I think finding out your purpose in life early, I think helps, and then understanding what that is and putting everything behind that purpose, I think brings a lot of happiness. I think a lot of times we are doing things which is not our purpose, but we're doing it, we're living our lives for someone else. I think understanding that early helps quite a bit.
So can I ask you a few questions like coffee with current, for example?
Coffee, yeah.
Let me shoot some questions.
Yeah.
What's your definition of success, Rakesh?
I think success is you have, in my mind, you have come closer to your purpose in life, and also you're happy being done that. I think to me being happy and living in the moment is the most important thing.
So my next question would be what's the definition of happiness in your world?
I think happiness is probably when you have a lot of peace of mind, right? And anytime if something happens which disturbs that make sure you correct it. And I don't know if you have read, if any situation you are in which you're not happy about, you always have three options, right? Right?
Yeah.
One option is to accept, this is the situation I am in and I'm happy, this is my situation. Or you move away from it, no, I don't want any of it, and you move away from the situation. The third is you do something about it and change the situation.
Deal with it.
And deal with it, right? And the end goal is to again come into happy, peaceful state.
Right.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to do a biopic of you in future, say perhaps, would you be open for that, like a movie in the name of Rakesh? So how would that be, and who do you think would play your role? It could be yourself.
Yeah.
But nowadays biopics are happening all over the place,
Yeah,
especially in India. Azhar biopic is happening. There's so many celebrities, like they are getting the biopics.
Yeah.
And today I read a newspaper, there's one entrepreneur in somewhere in North India.
Yeah.
He's been very successful in what he's doing, and some Bollywood producers have approached him to make a biopic. So that's how I got my question. If someone wants to do a biopic on you, do you think that would be a good idea?
I don't know if I would want that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would want that.
Right.
Yeah. I think I'm a very down to earth and private person. I would not want my story to be told to the world.
But it could be inspiring for so many people, right?
Yeah. But I'm not sure about a biopic.
So okay, let's forget about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's your take on? You are in the market now. You are selling your products. You have a business.
Yep.
So what does the term influence mean to you?
I think influence plays a key role, especially to an entrepreneur, because influence is what is helping you drive people around you to believe in a vision and work hard in achieving that vision. Right? And then with that influence, together as a team, the company we create has an influence on customers and then on the world.
Right. So my next question would be to ask you, like, what are you most passionate about professionally? What are you great at doing professionally?
So I've been a very strong programmer all my life. I got really good at solving problems, So in fact, got so good at that, I felt that there is no other problem left to be solved. And to me, then entering into running a company has been the next challenge. And I think I'm still learning. Right? There was a study done at Harvard which says it takes 10,000 hours, right, to master any skill. Right? So I think I mastered technology, and now I'm trying to master business.
Amazing. So what do you say as the path for Urban Pro, or where do you see yourself in the next few years from now? Like, what's your plan?
See, we are building the largest learning and education company in India. For the size of the market, we are still scratching the surface. And I think from that perspective, there's a long way to go. I mean, today we connect a student and a tutor, right? And then don't go beyond it. Very soon we're launching some products which enable us to add more value both on the tutor side as well as on the student side. And I think with that we take things all together to a very different level, and we continue to scale. We have been scaling really well, month on month, quarter on quarter.
You have any plans for diversifying or developing other verticals as well?
No, we want to stay focused on learning. I think learning in India is such a large market, and it requires its own company to be focused on that vertical, on the learning vertical, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Right. So if I have to ask you one more question about your business, like what are you doing in your business which is so distinct, keeps you keeps the competition away, or the competitors away, if there are any competitors? So what is so distinctive about you? What are the value distinctions that you have as a business, that keeps you, ahead of everybody else?
I think the most important thing today is the large base that we have built, which is 3.8 lakh tutors, trainers, and training institutes on the platform. And this is not just in one city or few cities; it's pan India. And I think that's very hard for someone to beat. And it's not just the number; it's those people with rich profiles, intro videos, reviews, etc. I think that's a big barrier for entry. And while I've been here, we have seen a lot of companies trying to mimic what we do and fail.
Yeah, that's what happens. In most startups.
Yeah. I think and as the days go by, we continue to build more strength into the platform, and more services on both sides of the market. It's a two-sided marketplace.
Right.
So both for tutors as well as for students, we continue to build more on urbanpro.com.
Great. So before we conclude this interview, I would like to ask you: is there, if people want to get in touch with you, so how do they do that? Do they go to your website or your LinkedIn profile, or how do they do it? If it is LinkedIn profile, we can flash that on the screen.
I think LinkedIn profile will be the best way to reach me, or I mean, if you want to contact anyone at Urban Pro, then urbanpro.com has a support section as well, has a customer support section as well.
Right. So it was. Thank you for sharing your insights and your perspectives on entrepreneurship and your take on how exactly you built your system here, and how you built it from the ground up, and how you see it, and how others can take your insights and build their own businesses. Like, everybody is looking for some insight, some inspiration from people who have already done it, so people who have already succeeded at establishing their businesses, and you've done a great job at Urban Pro, like, as we all know. So thank you for sharing your insights and perspectives. And if any of you want to get in touch with Rakesh or urbanpro.com, just go to urbanpro.com, or if you want to personally reach out to Rakesh, if you have any question about this interview, you can reach out to him on his LinkedIn profile, or you can post your questions below this video if you are seeing it on YouTube or wherever the media channel that you are watching it on, and I will personally take your questions back to Rakesh and get his answers as quickly as possible back to you. So that's my promise. So once again, this was Rakesh Kalra here, founder of Urban Pro, for the Stardom Show from Bangalore, India. Thank you.